Are we assuming that some families are not coming in because we've... So
even they do, we don't allow it. Listen to no. Charity,
maybe
no.
That's a few stories because
let's go back to where we come from.
Okay.
It's a psychological way of working with them. Hello, lovely people. Welcome to Promulgate Media. You are watching live talk show with Nana Adjoasika. Today we are going to delve into a very important question about single parenting. Do we women tend to call ourselves single mother rather than single parent? There's a distance between these two names. So why do we tend to call ourselves single mothers? I'll let my partner introduce herself so we get a ball rolling. Hi, lovely.
Hi. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Thank you for having me today.
And thank you for being here with us today.
My name is Charity. I am a biomedical scientist and I'm also a single parent. So this is the topic that's right up my street. I'm really excited to get into the topic and hopefully we all learn something really great today from our conversations.
Great, of course.
Yeah.
Now you said the word that I don't even want to hear. You said single mother. Or do you say single parent? Why do we tend to call ourselves single mothers? Is it something that we are proud of? If you are not raising the child alone, especially if the father is alive, why would you call yourself a single mother? You only call yourself a single mother if you're not giving the man room to come in. So why are you a single mother?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think the words just naturally you use it interchangeably. Sometimes you're not really thinking. To be honest, I call myself a single mom.
Okay.
Single mom. Yeah, because that's the word that describes me. I live with the kids 90% of the time. I said 95% of the time. I take them to school. I go to trips. I do, the morning routine, the night routine. Their father has them every other weekend. So definitely a single mother. If there was a legal arrangement in place, right? This is set, we'll come in. If you don't come, there's a consequence. We have an agreement. The kids have a space in your house. They got wardrobes. They got things where they know that this is my other house. Then I'll consider myself a single parent because I'm co-parenting. I think currently what I'm doing is just passive, just passing by, trying to get the person interested in being part of their kid's life. Because I grew up without that and I know the impact. So I think for me, I'm pulling that person in. And it's not 100%. So if it's not divided in the middle, if you're not helping me drop the kids to school, breakfast club, then I'm a single mom.
Do you give him chance to do that?
I do.
And he's not doing it?
Because he lives, first of all, he lives away from me in a different city, right? And so obviously that's a barrier. But to be honest, I think even if I can't think for him, I think majority of people's cases, the man prioritize their jobs.
I feel like we don't give them the chance to come in because you just said here that if the law, why do you think the law should come in before things can be put into places? Whilst you can't sit him down and have a one-to-one mature conversation because you forget that men don't think the way we do. And then at times they think that we use the children to punish them. Okay, so it's about how you lay things down because, example, when you even live together, things are different. And then separation is on top of it. Do you think he's going to be thinking that, I'm going to be there 100%? Maybe his upbringing was different. And so that memory is still there. He feels like, okay, this is what my mom and dad, this is what happened between them. Also in the same situation now. She's going to do exactly what my mom did, typical African woman. We then tend to sit them down to give them chance to talk to them, to explain their point of view, and then bring them in. My mom raised us up. My dad was nowhere near us. Like how yours is around and you can talk to him. It was nothing like that. Okay, so growing up, having a child, like if I find myself in this situation, I'm not going to call myself never as a single mother. It has to be a single parent or co-parenting. And I've worked towards that. Okay, so we need to give them chance to come in. Okay, so how do we do this? How do we make this work?
So when I say the law, it's because, so we're dealing with different people here, right? we're dealing with men who are easy to talk to. You know, men who share their opinion, how they feel. There are men who just, some of our relationships didn't work because it was difficult to talk to this person.
So lack of communication.
How much more do you think that person who is living away from you now has that freedom to do whatever? Some women are really struggling with trying to get them in to be a part of it. I think a lot of people now, especially our age, they want to build their careers and stuff. So there has to be a divide. The reason I'm saying the law is because a man can be the laziest person, or a human being can be the laziest person, but they get up and they go to work because there's a requirement. If you don't go, you don't get paid. There was a point I was thinking, raising the topic of, should we go to the court and have something in place so that I'm not nagging you, I'm not bagging you?
No, can I come in here? Let's not forget that these laws here are not to help us.
No, okay. It depends on what
in
law.
a way, that's how I see it.
It depends on what law though, because there are people who have, you know, I had it's everybody's story is different. I know someone who will get the kid ready, waits, the kid is excited, bouncing about. Daddy doesn't turn up.
Why?
Because he has not turned up and he refuses to pick up his call, switches you off. How many times are you going to see a little boy, a little girl disappointed until you say, I'm cutting him off? There's a time for your own good, you cut them off.
Yeah.
Daddy doesn't turn up. Or if daddy comes, daddy is coming because he's trying to get something from you as the mommy. You know, some men, if you put a boundary in place, like a respect me, respect my space, they're out. So I think for me, the reason I talk about law and I talk about whenever there's a separation, you want to co-parent, I think either you go through some kind of advisory. It doesn't have to be, you know, sometimes when we think about court, we think big. Advisory.
Because I feel like it scares them off rather than
why is it scaring you? And not
having
man, like
them one-on-one talking to them.
Since you broke up because you could not talk to this man.
Okay, but then you are no more together, okay. But this situation here, the situation is not us anymore. There are children involved. Where do we place these children? Okay. How do we make it work? So we are not here, we are back home. Which law are you going to use to make sure that the man...
And that needs to be looked into. I think it's certain saying this, because sis, do you know what? Sometimes you've met a good person. It would be good to hear from the audience. You've met someone you can talk
communication really works in a way, because look, this is a man you've lived with. Okay, you definitely know where to press that.
Some people have not lived with this man. Some of them has been a one-night stand and a child came out.
Yeah, so that one you should know that like he wasn't something that he was expecting at all.
But he
but then when it comes in that way and the man is not forthcoming, he's not being there for the child, what action would you take? I think at that point you don't need to say bad things about the man to the child or even say words that, but then you need to talk to the child. Father might be having this issue, this might be happening to him, and then deal with him directly, but don't get a child involved with your exchange of words and accusation and all that, because let's not forget that where we come from, we feel like men are supposed to take in everything. Anything that comes their way, they are men, they have to stand and take it. And so we tend not to talk to them, we tend not to see or relate to how they feel. We neglect them. Okay, and also they also tend not to share their feelings, to share their worries and concerns, because some of us use that against them, and that's so demeaning when you do that to a man. Okay, so they rather hold it in than telling you what is bothering them. So you need to also look out for all these things. Why is he not coming? Okay,
but
what is bothering him?
You're playing a counselor where two people try to raise a child.
I know. So this is why you don't have to think like him. Okay, one has to think outside the box, because if we all tend to think the same way, then we are going to also end up breeding another toxic child to somebody's son or somebody's daughter. Okay, so we women, there's a lot that we need to do. We need to step up, because even if that man is still a man, you still have to be a mother to that man. Okay, talk less of bringing another child in. So don't look at he showing that face, but dig into what is really making him feel that.
Would you remember that you've so if I'm talking with my experience. Remember that you've gone through a breakup.
Okay, I won't carry you. Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
When you met your man, yeah, I'm sure probably there was something that you picked. Like, look, women, we have that instinct, that small intuition voice that something is not right here, but I can't take it. Okay, that's the same something that you saw is what is causing the marriage downfall.
Exactly. And I couldn't, so maybe, so as a woman, you met him and you thought, oh, maybe there's this thing that I don't like. But, you know, I can live with him. There's other...
Why is that?
You know, there's 99%.
We can make changes.
No, okay, so let me make a point. There's 99%, 90% of things I like about him. The 10%, everyone comes with a little bit of a baggage.
Oh yes, you will come with this.
But if we didn't work and we broke up and there's children involved, I think sometimes we need to let the men take accountability. Women, I don't think any woman, unless, you know, in circumstances that I haven't been in, that I want to be a single mom. I want to take...
I think nobody wanted to get into marriage or happily married and then everything just drained like that within the short period of time. We all wanted it.
That's it.
Okay, that's why we wanted it. But then the circumstances, it
didn't work between you.
Yeah.
Even when there was love there.
Okay.
So now it's broken. There's brokenness. There's pain. There's bitterness
anger
between the two of you.
Yes.
So I don't think this is me personally, and from my experience, I don't think this is time to sit him down and say, you know, we need to be co-parenting.
No.
That's it. And trying to get him. So, because you're saying let's communicate.
Yes.
Communicating is you, again, going back to the little girl, little boy who's dressed up. I'm not bashing their dad.
What I'm saying, sorry to cut in, but what I'm saying is at that time, you need to let him know it's not about the two of you anymore. It's about that child. When you've married, there was no child. Would you even dare call him? For what? You don't need him.
But now with the pain, with everything involved, now you have to sit. This
You-
is what
you
I said.
can't sit him
Somebody
down.
needs to sit between the two of
It
you.
won't work.
And then
It won't work.
We just wing it. Which also
You know,
falls on the man.
dealing with him, because you know sometimes the fear is, why did she leave me? Is there another man? Okay, what was the cause of it? Even he knowing that this is what caused it, he still want to feel that there's somebody else, there's somebody out there. That's why you did that. So you have a double role to play, rather you being in the marriage. You don't have to tell him that you don't have a man. But for the sake of the children, okay, you need to let him know. You need to let him know that whatever the differences are, it's not about the two of you anymore. It's about the children. So, okay, let's put our anger, our ego and everything aside. How do we live happily? So these children would rather see us both happily separated than seeing us together and being Tom and Jerry, like cat and mouse. Okay, how do we do that?
So how do you do this communication? This is
Okay.
what I want to know.
Okay.
Because you've done it successfully. I'm struggling.
It wasn't.
So I'm good to know.
Yes, it wasn't easy. It was mental torture. Like
That's it.
you have to, because this is like bringing up a child. You know, children, they do research on us. If you tell the child, okay, you have an hour to use your phone. After 1 hour, go and put it there. If you don't put it there, I'll take the phone away from you. And then you go back and he still got the phone. You did not take the phone away from, and he continues. She knows there's nothing. You won't do anything to him or her. So they will keep doing it. Okay. But then if you said, this is the situation, how do we make this work? I'm not going to take you to court for the court to get involved with this. I'm not reporting you to anyone. None of all these people were there, work roommates. This is what we've got. The children, how are we going to make sure both of them or both of us are working towards their growth, helping them, giving them the care that they need? Okay, and I'm telling you, it's going to be hell, it's going to be difficult, but you don't have to give up. Okay, because even they being alone without the children around them, it doesn't help them mentally. Okay, because both of you becomes quiet, lonely again, like when you were single. Now, how were you able to manage yourself when you were single? Were you single for a longer period before you married? Were you dating? If you were able to do all these things alone before you go, yes. But then when you marry, there's this different environment that you have to your life just change within the short period when you separate. Okay, so how do you make sure that both of you enjoy the children and the children also enjoy both of you? Okay, and you need to keep putting that into his head that this is how we have to make it work. It's not about us, but the children need both of us.
Wow. Okay, maybe you can give lessons on how to get this going
because men are stubborn. He's not going to listen to you from the start. He's not going to do it.
so
But you need to learn to give even when he said he's knowing, go and make sure he's there and leave the children with him.
so basically, I think also for what I'm hearing, it comes down to personality. Because maybe so what we're looking for is the generic. It's something that works across the board.
But
right?
like you said earlier, every situation is different. So
yeah,
it is. Some men are like
and how old are the children when the breakup happens? You know,
so
where's the man? Was he even there before the breakup happens?
that's why
I think it's
difference.
easier for a man. Look, I'm going back to my friend because he actively wants to parent this child.
Okay, good.
So with him, it will be easier to. With him, I can.
No, but then the woman didn't want him. Sorry, didn't want him to look after the child because the child is 6 months old.
But so this was a a story in their struggle to kind of set a tone.
Okay.
So this was my friend saying, "Have you ever done this? You know, how should I deal with this?" But what I'm saying is, with a man like that, I can work with him. We can say, "What's the children? What do they need?" But for someone who has no intentions, have left, broken a marriage, and they're out there, it's almost like dragging a horse to the river and making them drink. By the time you know your mindset is messed up, what we're trying to do is, so sometimes, I don't blame some people who say I'm a single mom, right? Because the thing that got me going, to be honest, I don't know if it's always the way my brain works, I forget about him. Like, so I can get on with my day. I'm not consciously saying.
I think I'm not. Sorry, I think that it's not only you. That's what most of us do.
Yeah.
Okay. If he doesn't want to get involved, I can do this on my own.
Put my feet
but
down.
That is difficult, okay? Because me, for instance, I wouldn't want you to sleep in your house by yourself, and I'll be struggling, kicking my head left and right between two children.
What would you do? What I used to do was I used to call him and I used to cry.
No.
Then I realized.
No. I'd rather cry alone.
If I have to communicate.
No, the cry won't solve the problem.
That's it.
That is not.
You end up being a crazy person to him.
So go to the house with the children, leave them there, and come back home.
Crazy.
That's not crazy. Go to and leave them there. You won't drag the children out. You won't leave them.
Exactly that. But some women are not able to do that because it's like, who is he there?
So me, I would just leave them. I have to travel for these days. Look after them, and then you come back and he's done a good job.
It comes back to personality as well. You are that firm. Some people are not firm, and a man knows who you are.
Anyway,
I can't play with Kendra because Kendra will find me, But I can play with Charity. Because
but I think sometimes we let them get off the hook, okay, easily.
Yeah.
We don't keep pushing.
That's true.
Because they know you.
Yeah.
And then they know at the back, they let them go. The child will grow up and they will come. They know.
That's true.
And you knowing that they will grow up there and they will go back. No way. I'm not sitting back and letting you just live free and then me struggle, especially in this country. Like, look, UK here.
That's it.
And then you wake up in the morning, your head is all over. You have to go to work, pick them from school. No, even if I'm sleeping, I'll tell you have to pick her today.
That's it.
You need to make time for yourself because they know that as a woman, African woman, no, she will just take.
That's the ideal.
Yeah,
but
so
I
you
really
need to keep pushing because
it's not my job to because
it is your job. Because if it's not your job, whose job to make sure he looks after the children?
It's the government's job. It's people who can put him. What I know is, when you start to drag him alongside of your problem, and I keep going back to say, how old are the children? What's your mental state at the time of that? What are you like? What's your personality like? For me, it would be easier that we have an arrangement. Think about the law as well.
So you feel like you bringing the law in
is
much easier for you than dealing with him personally.
Because even at the end of the month, where's the allowance? Or today they didn't pay me very much. Or if the government knows their finances and they're able to take from them, because you got bills, you got rent to pay. So I think what we do, especially with Africans and where we've come back, let's sort it at home. Let's be amicable. He's not amicable. right? I might not be amicable. And we're saying women, but sometimes the men are the ones that are struggling with the woman, right?
But some women also leave the children with
this
the men.
is what I'm saying.
Yes.
So we come back to single parent, single father, single mother, whatever you see yourself as.
And there are other women too that the men are willing to take part, to be responsible, but they decide not to let them in.
Go in the law then. This is where the law, go and say, I want to be with my child. I want to look after my child. The woman is using it to, if a man wants to do something, they should go at every length. Because at least you're protected. I know someone is going to say, oh, the girl doesn't want me to come near, but the boy is almost like a teenager now. When he's there asking you questions, you say, oh, your mommy said I shouldn't come close. What did you do? You didn't fight.
He doesn't want to be responsible in the first place.
That's
so
it.
They know
stop.
the woman will just try one or even look, when we take to the law, we still just give up.
Yeah, but then now I can go back 15 years later. If this one asks you, say, listen, this was my arrangement. This is how much I fought. That argument at the time when you try to explain to them, it means nothing to them. Sometimes you think, that was a silly argument. But now, if you have something solid, you said, I took him to the court, I took him here, I took him to the church, he didn't show up, I did my best.
I feel like that doesn't help their mental state, okay?
Whose mental state?
Both the children and the men, and even you yourself, dragging yourself to court back and forth.
No, it's not court. I'm saying it. So when it comes to the finances, obviously, you go through the government to say, we are co-parenting. So at the end of the month, the man wants to contribute this much. They take... I went through that process, right? They gave me options. The court is not that scary. Or this.
Okay, take us through. How was it?
So when he was pushing that he wants to see it, he wants to be a part of the life. Remember, I had to stop my work and just do 2 days, right? I said, wait, the government's helping me. If you want to contribute, I don't want to deal with it. Go through the government.
Okay.
And say, I want my children half.
Okay, so at which point were he not having access to the children?
He's always had access to the children.
Okay.
But when he started to say, I want to take them away, I want to be a parent, I don't know whether that looked good at the time. Anyway, so he went through the government.
You should have just give them to him. But you see
no,
where
he
the problem...
didn't want to take them. He wanted to be a part of it.
And so why were you preventing it?
I never prevented. I've always been the one that's advocated. So I said, go... government's paying. I could lie to you and say
nothing.
So if you want to be a part, and because remember, some men, they need to show evidence that they're being with their children to get other things. Let's not get into that, right?
Okay.
So I said, okay, I don't want in future to come and say, oh, I gave her the money, she ate it. They went to the government and said, go and speak to the woman.
Yeah.
They're not that scary. They said, speak to her. Home, between you two, if you can settle on something, she can call us
So
back.
now, do you see, even the law says, go and sit to the woman.
Yeah.
You see, so they even know that works.
It doesn't work. They give you a chance, right? It doesn't work for everyone. I mean, mine, I have struggles. I have months where I'm like...
I didn't go to any law at a point where I have to bring court in and all. I told them, no, I'm not going there. Because I wouldn't want my children to be looking for their dad and I have to go to certain place for them to go and visit their dad. That's not what I wanted.
Would they go to certain places to visit?
Oh, so every separation